Do you wear underwear on the broom?
You kind of have to. There's got to be a barrier.
I don't know. See, my grandmother once told me witches don't wear underwear because they get a better grip.
I knew this was coming. So what all of this combined to me, and I know this sounds very kind of not hokey, but just kind of like, oh, well, yeah, it works. Like there is a new emotional start coming for you. Like I feel like this is the victory card. So there is something coming for you, like just a new way of thinking. Oh boy.
That's okay. I like that one. I just doesn't matter what I like. Really, I gotta let it just flow.
You literally said earlier that that the love card. You literally have the lovers that came out.
That's the love card.
One of them. One of several. And
I'm more scared of that than the death card.
And I feel like with that having that duality, and with the other cards present, I feel like it's a very, you kind of go with this back and forth. Again, okay, I'm just plugging it in every time.
How did you know?
I'm so psychic.
How did you know?
I'm a witch.
She's good.
The reason why I laughed about this card, so that's the Emperor card, and
that's me, Emperor. I prefer His Majesty. But.
Oddly enough, and I find this hilarious because I call the Emperor card, no matter what deck it's in, I call it the Big Dick Energy card.
That's also me. Also me, Big Dick Energy. Well, she knows her shit.
Yeah.
Michelle, tell us about Bad Omen. What is the website just for? www.bewarebadomen.com. Okay, that's pretty easy to remember. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in checking that out or anything you guys want to do, I mean, within a reason. I mean, if you're in Kansas, I'm sure she's not going to come to your house.
Yeah.
But if you're in the capital region of New York,
the right amount of money, she might go out.
Oh, that's true. There's a price on everything.
Yeah.
Finger blasting is fun with friends.
But if my friends aren't around, I'll just finger blast myself.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, Har.
If I had to choose between oral sex and birthday cake, oral sex would always win.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
You know what my favorite fantasy is?
Come on!
I can hardly wait. They should be here any minute.
Suck it. Suck it deep.
Hey, so are you ready to have some fun? 'Cause I am.
Oh my god.
You're a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot.
Don't be a little bitch.
Now listen to me carefully, you fat tub of goo.
Can you at least give me head?
Oh yeah!
I can put my whole fist in my mouth.
What the fuck's gonna happen next?
October 29th, Saturday. It's going to be episode 62. This episode comes out on Halloween, October 31st, as it is every year. And we have Michelle from Bad Omen here for the show, and she's going to teach us about witchcraft. Did I say that right? Witchcraft. Yeah. What are some other terms that you could use for, like, Wiccan? Is that
you can. I am not Wiccan. Wiccan is Wicca is a whole different thing. It's still witchcraft, but it's more of like a...
Can you put that a little closer?
I can.
Perfect. There we go. Thank you.
Wicca is more of like it's more structured. There's more of like, there's hierarchies with like, because there's high priestesses and stuff like that. I kind of go my own way.
Okay. So Wiccan is more of a religion, would you say? Okay. Yeah. And what you do is more of like a belief.
Yes.
Just a belief.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Before we get the show started, I just want to let everybody know, I'm sure they know what Matt is dressed up as for Halloween. Or should I say Bob?
Yeah, I'm Bob today. Still a big deal, though.
I don't know. I'm dressed up as a big deal today. I figured I'd dress up as Matt and be a big deal for once. Me. Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll keep being you.
You should.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, we will.
Michelle, tell us about Bad Omen.
Okay, so Bad Omen is my business. I started it about a year and a half ago. really just kind of inspired by the fact that people really don't know much about witchcraft, and those that think they do, and I really shouldn't say that, but like those that that are trying to practice and trying to learn more don't really have the resources in order to do that, and especially in the capital region. So,
we talked about, everybody with a crystal thinks they're a witch now.
Exactly. So, like, I definitely want to bring a lot more to. It's not just about crystals. It's not just about sage and stuff like that. It's so much more than that. And a lot of that is, it's good. It's great. It's wonderful for if that's what you want to do. But that's not inherently witchcraft. So I wanted to kind of bring a new way of thinking when it comes to witchcraft.
So you're kind of like a teacher then.
Yeah.
Like if someone gets interested in it, you'll come over and help them
definitely
start learning the ways or how to do things and stuff like that.
That's what Bad Omen is all about, basically? Or?
Mostly. I do. I am a shop too. Like I make my own things and all that, intention setting and all that type of stuff. I read tarot cards. I host like witch nights, which I basically get a group of your friends together and I show you how to put together a spell jar, but it's in a safe environment that's protected, and I walk you through everything. I also do like mini readings at the end of that too. But yeah, I also teach tarot, all that stuff. So,
is the readings other than the cards? Can you do readings? Or is that like the window into...
That is, for the most part, for me, it is the window into reading, so to speak. Because what I say that I read intuitively. So not just because the cards, they have their meanings, but sometimes something will mean something totally different to me, just for the pure fact that, I'm doing a reading for somebody that...
So like if you draw the death card, it doesn't necessarily always mean death, like somebody's dying. There's a whole different...
No, the death card doesn't mean death at all. It means rebirth. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Everyone always freaks out about the death card because they're like, "Oh my god, am I dying?" Or somebody else.
Well, there's usually like a picture of a reaper. I'm like, "Oh my god, you pulled the death card on me."
There's a lot of cards in here that are like terrifying, but that's usually not the case.
Okay.
I have never given anybody a reading that I've pulled the death card, and I'm just like, "Yeah, no, you're totally dying."
I'm actually more scared of the love card than I am the death card.
Yeah, you are.
It'll be okay.
So that's good. So you've been doing that, what'd you say, a year and a half?
Yes.
Well, the business,
Omen.
Bad Omen.
Yep.
Okay. So you can, and before the show's over, we'll make sure you like give a phone number or website or whatever make sure the people, if they want to get a hold of you, can.
Thank you.
What is the website, just for?
www.bewarebadomen.com.
Okay, that's pretty easy to remember. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in checking that out or anything you guys want to do, I mean, within a reason. I mean, if you're in Kansas, I'm sure she's not going to come to your house. But if you're in the capital region of New York,
the right amount of money, she might go out.
Oh, that's true. There's a price on everything. Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
$10,000. Would you go to Kansas?
Maybe.
If you go out to Kansas, are you a good witch or a bad witch?
I forgot about that. Of course, I would use Kansas. Yeah, are you more Melinda, or was it Belinda?
Yeah, Melinda.
Belinda? Or what was the other one? Just the witch, right? She was just the witch of
her sister.
She was, but did she have a name? It was the Wicked Witch of the West?
But no, she did have a name because they came out with that.
Wicked.
The Wicked.
Which I actually thought was a pretty decent movie, if I remember right.
There's actually like a couple different books for The Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. It's not just The Wizard of Oz and that was it. There was actually
quite
a few.
Were the books first or was the movie first? Okay.
The books were first. Yeah.
Oh, so there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, there is a lot more to it.
I'm surprised more people don't know about it. I didn't know that.
It's a lot more, I wouldn't say gruesome, but it's got a darker side to it than what you just watch on TV and stuff like that.
Wasn't Wicked kind of a little darker?
Yeah, it was.
If I remember right, it's been a while since
It showed how the Wicked Witch of the East became the Wicked Witch of the East, and how Glinda, or what was her name?
Glinda
became Glinda and stuff like that and everything. So
I loved her in that movie. She was like, all of a sudden she comes down in that ball, and I'm like, everything's saved.
Just follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened if you followed the red brick road, though. Because there was a yellow and a red brick.
Yeah, but wasn't that just the opposite, just the contrast of the yellow? Like, it just not go any? There was a whole nother road?
It had a whole nother road. If you watch the movie, there was a yellow brick road and there was a red brick road.
Oh, so, yeah. That went to the Wicked Witch's house.
Yeah, could have.
Remember when they fell asleep? Okay, anyway. It was such a good movie. So there's no... Michelle did not float here in a bubble.
I did not.
She did not come in on a broom either.
Or a broom.
Of course, or nowadays they might upgrade to like a Hoover or something.
Yeah. You know, we're gonna put Michelle right on the spot here. I told her before the show that we could get kind of raunchy. We bust balls a little bit, but do you wear underwear on the broom?
You kind of have to. There's got to be a barrier.
I don't know. See, my grandmother once told me witches don't wear underwear because they get a better grip.
I knew this was coming.
That's a true story. My grandmother, or not my grandmother, it was a relative, like a aunt grandmother, whatever that is.
So speaking of like brooms and stuff, like how do you know how like all that portrayed into a witch?
Yeah, why is that a thing?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of the stereotypes are actual things that witches used. Brooms are, I mean, there's a lot of different connotations for brooms. Like there's, they can be used for protection.
Usually smack
it's like
somebody with it, yeah.
Exactly.
My grandmother was good with a broom, make it wrap around trees.
You can it's basically like the act of using a broom is you're getting rid of the bad stuff. So like,
I never thought of that. Yeah. It's just literally as simple as that. You're just getting rid of.
Very literal. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Well, good. That's that then.
Yeah. There you go. There's
never thought of it that way.
No.
What's some other typical
like the black cat with a witch?
Oh yeah.
Black cat. See, it's honestly, I'm glad that you brought that up because part of the reason why I named my business Bad Omen is just because people automatically think, oh, bad omens are, it's terrible. But, a black cat crossing in front of your path, like, okay, people freak out about it, but maybe you were going the wrong way. And the cat was there to be like, hey,
you need to go the other way or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's all very, I know it sounds very like spiritual and hokey and all that stuff, but that's essentially, that's bad omens were more or less are just signs of like, hey, you're not doing something that you should be doing.
And that's what the spiritual world, what you were saying out in the porch is more or less like a therapist for energy in a way. And bad omens, black cats, broken mirrors, all that stuff is like just bad energy, correct?
Yeah. I mean, it can be. This is the thing is that like you're not going to get bad luck if you walk underneath a ladder. Like, you don't have 7 years of bad luck if you break a mirror.
This is because I won't go under a ladder because of that. So I'm so glad that somebody believes in this is telling me don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't. It's like it's if you put stock into it, yeah, sure. Then everywhere you look, something terrible.
Right. A week later, you get in a car accident. If it's on your mind, it's like, it's because I went under that ladder.
Exactly, and it's not because of the ladder. It's because something happened. Like somebody was being an idiot.
That's funny you say that though, because I am starting to turn into a believer, like how, like I guess, like how you said, like your energy is kind of paves a way on what's going to happen to you next. Because there's times where I've been like feeling really good, got good energy, and like good things have happened.
Absolutely.
And I'm starting to think the way your mood is and the way you think and the way you handle yourself or go about your day can change the next thing that happens to you.
Yeah,
and like right now,
is that the butterfly effect? Is that what that is? Where one thing changes the next, like a butterfly flaps its wings and it turns into a breeze somewhere else and turns into a storm somewhere else and a tree falls on your house and it's like that's what the butterfly effect is, I thought.
Essentially, I mean, more of what you're talking about is manifestation and just putting out, because basically with energy, what you put out is what you get back. So it's that give and take. So if like attracts like. So if you're miserable all the time, you're gonna have terrible things happen to you.
That's what I'm trying to do.
He's miserable all the time.
That's what I'm trying to get out of right now. I'm going through a little slump right now with some bad luck and stuff, and I'm just keep going down this rabbit hole, and it's probably gonna keep going until I start changing my attitude. And I'm trying to change my attitude, but it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
It's hard. Well, that's why, witches, we do that thing called shadow work where it's, it's basically like, and look, like I'm not a therapist. I have a very good friend that's a therapist who's also a witch. And it's two very different things. Like I did not go to school to be a therapist, but there is a lot of what I do with helping people kind of come to grips with how they're dealing with their energy and negativity and that type of thing. And so we do shadow work where it's basically you're playing the why game with yourself.
I use Trintellix.
I'm sorry?
I use Trintellix.
Yeah, I don't know
That's how I get rid of my bad energy is Trintellix.
That's your happy
anxiety,
pills.
depression medicine. I told Michelle before we come here, I don't not believe in this. I want to say that. I'm very open-minded with this stuff. I just haven't had anything happen to... I believe there could be spirits. Until I see one, which I haven't yet, it's hard for me to believe it. So what I want to get out of this is hopefully when this is over, I have a whole different outlook on it. I guess so. I want to make sure it's clear with you. It's not that I think this is garbage or nothing. So I guess I do believe in it. I just think that I don't know how to. I guess it's as simple as that. I'm just skeptical about it.
There's nothing wrong with that, and that's part of the issue is that there's so many people out there that are just completely full of shit. And so it's difficult for people to and Ghost Adventures is great to watch. It's very entertaining.
I think some of that's full of shit though.
Absolutely. They're there's no reason to be yelling at a ghost or whatever and be like, come at me, like no.
Actually,
serious.
You know what show that really got me into it was the Paranormal Society. It was a bunch of kids from
Paranormal Activity, not Activity.
No,
Paranormal State.
Yes.
A
bunch of college kids started like a group investigating ghosts and
stuff. Is it the one where they were ripping people off though?
They could have towards the end because they did get quite popular. They were like one of the original ghost shows. But the person I loved the most on that show was Chip.
I love Chip.
He was a medium, and he was gayer than gay. Love him.
It was fantastic.
But he walked in there, and the way he carried, I loved him. I was like, I wanted to actually meet him. Me and my wife were thinking about going to one of those convention places where like meet and greet type thing. He was going to be there. I love Chip. Chip is the best.
He's fantastic.
I'll have to check it out. I've never heard of it
too on the show.
Liz, what was the name of that movie we watched where they went into these old house? Remember, or did I watch it alone? I don't. Maybe you were on the phone with me when I was watching it or something. Remember, it was about they had there was these kids and they were ripping off old people because they had a. Malevolent was the name of it? Oh, so it was you.
I've seen that movie.
Okay. It was you, but I always dig myself all. See, this is bad energy. I give myself bad energy. I didn't mean you. I just didn't know if you were here. That's what I thought you were talking about. I didn't even have to tell that story. It just got me in trouble is all it did.
Yeah, it did.
See what I mean? I need help. I got a hex. I have a hex on me.
You do not have a hex on you.
What is a hex? What is a hex is there potions?
Yeah.
So that's a real thing. That's not just like a movie thing. Okay.
No.
Do you do potions?
Yes, I call it like spell work and spell casting and stuff like that. I usually don't use the term potion just because it has that negative connotation and it sounds kind of hokey, but that's just my own personal
Fair enough.
thing.
I would rather use spells anyway. I think that sounds cooler.
Yeah.
I'll start. I'm going to switch from potions to spells. But is it like you see it? It's not probably. Do you mix things?
Yes.
Oh, so that is real.
Oh,
so that's
so
not.
actually we'll mix things together like rat's tails and lizard.
Oh, so that's extreme.
That's totally extreme. So basically, there's perfect example. It's usually what is it? I think it's like a newt's eye or something like that. It's not an actual eyeball of a newt. It's a mustard seed.
Oh, all
that's all it is. It just that's the whole. I don't want to get into the whole the patriarchy, but that's how a lot of things got misconstrued over the years. Just because they're we wanted to women that practiced witchcraft and mixed potions together.
So it was a way of putting them down. Am I right? It was like a way to making them sound like they were crazy and
exactly. It
was
they're using a newt's eye and bad. Exactly. That it's the whole there's devil in the craft and all that type of stuff. It's literally just somebody putting together ingredients and mostly just their herbs and spices, and they all have different properties, and you put them together to have some sort of energy working.
So that brings up a good point. I think a lot of people think of witchcraft or any of this as a something dark. I think a lot of people have this idea that it's something to do with the devil or the... And from talking to you a little bit and from learning before the show and reading some different things, I feel like that's not it at all. It's really nothing to do with religion.
It's not. Yeah, it doesn't really have
At
anything
all.
to do with religion. There are definitely witches that work with the devil, so to speak, but they typically see Satan as a deity, as like a god. So, and that's a lot of a witchcraft too. Like if you adhere to that part of witchcraft, we work with gods and goddesses in terms of for spell work. Like you offer offerings to them so that they help you with your spells.
I'm a big fan of goddesses.
Well,
Big fan of
I
goddesses.
got a question on that because they say like throughout history, like if you look at like all the different religions, they're all kind of one of the same, but they're all called differently. Like you have Christianity, and you got the Hindus or the Ramadans or whatever. But they all kind of coincide with each other.
Yeah.
They all share the same stories. Is like witchcraft like part of that? Like, is there like a part of witchcraft or witches that like came from like the Bible or whatever? Because you guys do believe in like Satan, correct?
Some people, some witches do, some don't.
Okay.
A lot of witches don't. They just think that it's just a Christian construct, which that's fine. But like usually, so perfect example. A lot of because witchcraft goes under the blanket of paganism.
Okay.
So in
Yep.
a lot of Christianity, and I know a lot of people get upset with me when I say this, but a lot of Christianity comes from paganism.
Well, paganism was before Christianity, correct?
Yes.
Like that was one of the original religions before Christianity moved around the world.
Yeah. And paganism is just like, it's just a blanket term for so many different things. And it's not just witchcraft. It's like, there's so many different religions, so to speak, that are under that blanket of paganism.
It's funny how society has made things sound so shitty. In my mind, when I hear paganism, I think like we were just talking about, devil. They're worshiping devils. They're sacrificing children and like lambs' heads up on the wall and shit like that. And come to find out, it's not. It's more so people.
So
well,
can you?
I mean, I'm Christian, but like,
So can you say like the witchcraft birthplace was like from the pagans over in like Ireland, where they make Stonehenge and everything?
A lot of it. It's not just over there though, because witchcraft exists in pretty much every part of the world. There's
you were saying like Africa. You were saying is like voodoo.
Yep. There's
and that's more or less an offshoot.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's anywhere for the most part, and I know somebody will argue with me about it, but that's okay. For the most part, every single part of this world, like if they have multiple gods and goddesses at some point, that's considered paganism. So like even just from like Japan, like there's a whole slew of gods and goddesses that people used to worship or still worship now, or at least pay homage to, that it's still considered paganism. It's usually, like the way I see it is, if you're not worshiping just one god, it's typically considered paganism. I mean, and one of the things too that like, and I talk about this with people all the time, where because I get a lot of back and forth. Yes, what I did there.
Nice plug, thank you.
You're welcome. But where there's that argument about Christianity and paganism, and whether or not Christians cherry picked from paganism. And I always talk about Santa Claus, and technically Santa is Odin. Derived from the god Odin. And sorry, I talk with my hands a lot.
You're okay. You're good.
Well, you're Italian.
Exactly. It's just how I communicate. Basically, and what pagans typically do is give an offering to their god in order to receive something in return. So what are little kids doing on Christmas Eve? They're putting milk and cookies out for a mystical being to bring them something. So they're making an offering to Santa Claus in order to gain something in return.
I had never thought of it that way.
So paganism.
Now do witches do stuff like that? Will you offer something to gain something?
Yes. Typically it's usually I will do certain offerings to certain gods or goddesses that I know have specific abilities that can help me do certain spell work. So like for instance, I work with a lot of like Norse gods and goddesses.
Oh, the Norse goddesses are so hot.
I mean, Freya is pretty hot.
All the Norse girls are hot, except for like
kill you.
They got to be like right out of the bathtub because there's some of them are. I watched Vikings.
Oh,
God.
did you?
Yeah, we got to get a Viking on the show. Goddess, we got to. You know any goddesses that would come on?
Not physical ones.
Oh, that's all right. Half the girls they have over aren't physical anyway.
No,
they're just here in spirit.
Yeah,
and then they're gone, just like a ghost. Anyway, I feel much better. Thanks for listening.
It's all good.
What did I screw us up on? What were we talking about before I started blabbing my?
Distracted by goddesses.
Yeah, like paganism
right. Yes.
and stuff like that, and just trying to see if all these religions kind of coexist all at one time and branched off in different directions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So is it more? What is atheism? Because that's not devil worshipping like people think. I think that's just where you don't believe in any religion.
Believe in anything.
Yeah,
right.
You don't think there's no God, no devil, no witches, no other gods. You just don't believe in. You believe in nothing.
But you wouldn't say you're atheist, right? Because you believe in God.
No, I mean, I believe that whatever you believe in, you're right. I don't. I'm with atheism. It's like you believe that there's nothing else out there. There's no higher whatever, and that everyone else is also wrong.
Yeah. That's a big problem with religion, I think, is when you think that because they don't believe what you believe in, you're a jerk or you don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I was raised on the Bible. I went to church, stuff like that. I believe in some of it, but I don't criticize you and think whatever you do is completely wrong. I think everyone has their own choice, their own right to believe what they want to believe.
I guess that's what I was trying to say. Whether or not I believe in this stuff doesn't matter. It's I don't think any less that she believes in it. Or like if you were Jewish or something, I wouldn't think any less of that.
Just don't come at me and say you got to kill me because you believe that you got to kill me because that's your belief.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, time out. But
that's when you get into mental illness.
Yes, but if you think that doing your potions and stuff can change things, do things, and it works, good for you. I mean, it is what it is.
Exactly.
It's just like the whole stupid politic bullshit, too.
Yeah, really.
Everyone has the right to believe what they want to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's how Christianity became what it is. I mean, some of the history books, there was a lot of killing over that. I mean, religion and money are two of the biggest reasons for war.
Yep.
Dude, some of the bloodiest battles ever fought was over Christianity.
Right. People would come in and say, you have to believe the way I do. And they were like, no, we've been believing the way we do for this many years. Now you're going to tell us. And then next thing you know, they're war.
You had the Crusades.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And even before that, you had other tribes of Israel taking over other places because they believed that, because they were paganism, they believed in different gods. And they're like, no, you can't do that because my God said, you got to do this, so we're going to come in and tear down your city and stuff like that. So religion's been built on war for thousands of years.
Exactly.
And that's why I don't go to church, because I feel like just because I go to church doesn't make me any more spiritual than, I guess I would say I'm more spiritual than anything. I believe in something.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go there and some guy or woman's going to tell me that you have to do this, you have to believe that way, because there's however many other religions out there that are telling you that's not the way and you should believe the way I am. So I'm like, how am I right and you're wrong?
Exactly.
The Catholic religion is the biggest scam in the world, I think.
I kind of do too.
Because just hear me out. Because the Catholic religion basically over time says, give me money. That's why they're the richest business in the world, really, if you think about it.
And
the
the most
Vatican's
corrupt.
got the most, yes. But if you think about it, they're like, give me money, you'll go to heaven. Give me money.
Yeah, more or less. Don't they take money out of your check every week? There's a name
some of
for
them
that.
do, and some people give them a lot of money. And if you actually read the Bible, and I'm one of those weird people that actually read the Bible from.
There's nothing wrong with that. I've read the Bible too.
From the first word to the last word. And if you take the Bible and put it next to the way the Catholics preach about the Bible, totally two different fucking things.
Really?
Nowhere it says in the Bible, give all your money to the church to get to heaven.
Yep.
And stuff like that. The Catholic religion is the most biggest scam in the world, I think. And corrupt and everything else.
Absolutely.
So I'll read the Bible, I'll follow the Bible, but I ain't following the Catholic religion.
Does this bother you that I'm doing this or no?
No, not
Some
at all.
people, okay.
Nope.
All right, I didn't know if you were into that or not.
No, you're good.
So That's basically that actually turned out a lot better than I thought right there. It was a pretty good history of stuff. You seem to know your shit about. I mean, obviously you own a business, but like she knows a lot of the like history of where it came from. I don't know how you wear this all the time. That's a good thing. I got a quiz. We're gonna find out how much of a witch she really is.
Now, probably just bear in mind, these are probably very generic quizzes.
Oh yeah, I didn't really.
They're probably taking every stereotype of a witch and putting it on a quiz and be like, do you have a black cat if you're a witch or something?
So I don't know how this works. I never tried this, and I didn't want to try it.
Actually, like before we get into this, why don't you have her explain some of the stuff about the tarot cards, like how they work and stuff like that?
We can do that if you want. If you want to do that,
yeah, I think we learn a little history on the tarot cards and how they came to be and stuff, and how they work. And now,
would you be willing to do a reading?
Absolutely.
Like a quick something? Can you do it quick, or is it like a thing that you got to do?
I mean, I can do a quick reading, but it's like you're gonna have more questions, and I'm gonna have because the way it works, like things are gonna come out in the tarot, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know what this actually means, but you might know what it means.
All right.
Okay.
And so that's why, like, if I pull more cards, I'm gonna have a better understanding.
They scare me. I'm not gonna lie because I'm the guy that watches all those shows, and the only thing they portray is the bad things about them.
Exactly.
Well, that's how you look at it. I think that's what we went over. Like, it's all how you portray it yourself, correct? Like, if you
essentially, basically, so okay, like what we were talking about before about the death card. It's not about an actual death. Nobody. If anyone, okay, so if anybody gets a tarot reading and they pull the death card and they tell you were someone is going to die, then they are full of shit. They are not.
Okay, that's good to know.
They're not a good tarot reader because then they don't know what it actually means. Because death it's about rebirth. It's about a transition. Something is going to happen eventually to you. Like you could be going through it right now where you're like, oh yeah, no, like I'm going through a huge upheaval right now. And it usually means something positive though, because death is, while it has those negative connotations, it's really not. Typically, it's not a terrible thing. It's making way for something new.
Now, after talking with you, I was terrified.
Like money problems are gone. That could mean good thing. Like if a death card could mean like the death of your money issues.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was like, ask him. I was like, no, I want no part of it. Want no readings. But after talking with you and starting to listen to what you have to say about it, I would actually let you do a little reading on me.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. All right.
And then as you're going through, just explain like what you're doing, like how it works, like and stuff like
definitely. That. So basically, tarot is it's actually not as ancient as people think it is. I don't know the exact date that it's actually been, but like it's. Every tarot deck is derived from the Rider-Waite deck, which again I don't know. I don't remember the actual year that it was that they were made. But it's just another divination tool. It's literally just for people that are already intuitive, that have that ability to use to make sense of a situation.
So like a Ouija board, sort of.
Yes.
All right.
You're still working with energies. You're still working with entities or deities, that type of thing. Not everybody. It depends on what you believe in. But yeah, I mean, tarot is, I don't know, like I love it. People automatically think terrible things about it, but that's okay. Like that's fine. And I especially love doing readings for people that have either never had them done or are incrably fearful of them.
Well, that's me. Never had it done, and I've been ask her because we'll be walking through like up in Maine, there's shops, and she's like, "Let's go." I'm like, "Nope, no, I ain't messing with it," because I kind of feel what I don't know isn't gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
And I'm just afraid something might pop like a death card. Be like, "Yep, I'm dropping dead next week." I didn't want to know that. I'd just rather not know when I'm dropping dead.
Definitely not. And that's another thing too. Like it's the same thing. Even if you go to a psychic medium and they're not using cards, if someone's telling you your death day, again, they're full of shit. Like, please do not go to those people.
Would you want to know when you were going to die? Nope. If somebody could tell you, you wouldn't. Would you want to know?
No.
I would. 100%. I'd want to enjoy if I had like 2 weeks to live or something, I'd want to know so that I could go do whatever I wanted.
But then you'd be so caught up in that, you might not enjoy what you want to enjoy. I'd rather just keep going and living my life, doing whatever, and then...
Well, okay.
I mean, that's honestly, like, because if you think about it, though, that's kind of the whole point of spirituality, is that you don't know when you're going to die. So living your life authentically and being who you are and just kind of trying to be as positive as possible, but also taking in the negative and understanding why it's there, it transforms your life so that you are living and not, just dealing with like, oh, today's shit.
Before we get, can I ask you a question? Can you take me serious with this wig on? Because if not, I gotta take it off.
I mean,
I'm really into this. I'm just afraid you're looking at me right now like I'm some kind of DTD because I got this stupid wig on.
Definitely not. Considering the
I'm
world,
taking the wig off for a little bit. This is serious, so I'm trying to.
I mean, I can look past the wig. It's fine. I mean, the amount of people that I deal with on a regular basis that are
my hair's not any
interesting
better,
individuals, it's your fine. That's the wig is the least of your problems.
All right,
You got a lot more to worry about than that stupid
my
wig.
wife has a question. What's the difference between all three decks? Are they all basically the same, or is one different than the other? Or?
More or less the same. They are, because different artists will create different decks, and that they will like certain. There's in this particular deck, the Fool card is called the Seeker card. So there's not a huge difference, but all the artwork is different. It's everything. Every tarot deck is derived from that right away.
If you can get that fly, go ahead, because it's bugging me. I know it keeps flying around over there.
Every deck is derived from the Rider-Waite deck. So I pick certain decks that call to me. Like I have over like 30, I think, at home. Wow. But they're just, I like the artwork, and they call to me, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to use them. So.
All right, cool.
Essentially. All right. So this one, I call this my bitch slap deck. So I'm sorry.
Your what deck?
My bitch slap deck. Essentially because...
Perfect. Can we not use that one on my reading?
Now I'd have to use it on your reading. Essentially because it sounds weird, but I feel like each deck kind of takes on its own personality, at least for me. This one is very direct and to the point.
Sweet.
So I have other ones that are very flowery. I don't usually like using those just because I am not a very flowery person when it comes to readings. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I have no problem asking questions. And if there's something uncomfortable, it is what it is.
I'm getting nervous right now.
Don't be nervous. It'll be fine.
I'm kind of nervous of what she's going to come up with when on my turn. Like, is it going to be... Am I going to not want to know something after talking about like when you're going to die? Obviously, she's not going to tell me when I'm going to die, but it's got me thinking, like, is there stuff that I don't actually want to know?
9 times out of 10, you will always hear something that you already are very aware about. It's very rarely, like, usually when I give readings and people are just like, yeah, no, that was spot on. But like I already knew everything you were saying. I'm like, yeah, no, I know. Like, because the universe is like, hey, you need to know this shit.
So as you're shuffling and one of those will fall out, do you keep that one because it was like meant to fall out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wondered.
There are other tarot readers will just kind of pull cards and like we'll cut the deck and stuff. I don't really like to do that. I like to I take the flippers, so to speak. So usually this happens, it's pretty common where if you're already talking about a situation, which we kind of were before, where, you kind of like in this kind of negative space. So it looks like,
you're done. You're done.
Sorry, no. There's the Ace of Cups here, and usually the Ace of Cups can mean a couple of different things. In this case, it doesn't mean a new relationship, so obviously, I mean, it can mean a new emotional start. So considering you also have, because you have this other card, you have this 10 of Swords here. 10 of Swords talks about depression. It talks about kind of like that darkness and dealing with that negative energy. And then you have the 4 of Cups. And now usually the 4 of Cups and in the Rider-Waite deck, it's Because this one, it's really weird that there's like a rat on top of the four of cups, but that is what it is. That's just what the artist decided to do. But the Rider-Waite deck, it's usually somebody sitting below a tree and there's 3 spilled cups in front of them. And they're just looking down at these cups like so just disgruntled and so upset that they're like, I have these cups that have spilled over. But they're not noticing the one cup that's coming in. It's like coming in from a disembodied hand, but it's like glowing and beautiful and overflowing with this wonderful stuff. So I feel like, I mean, and a lot of what we talked about, you're focusing on the negative. So more negative is going to come if you're going to focus on it. You do have this 6 of Wands and the World card. So what all of this combined to me, and I know this sounds very kind of not hokey, but just kind of like, oh, well, it works. Like there is a new emotional start coming for you. Like, I feel like this is the victory card. So there is something coming for you, like just a new way of thinking. And it could very well be because of today. It could just be that, called you out on your negative depression mindset and was like, hey, this needs to change. So to get to that new emotional start, keep going with what you've been thinking about, thinking that yeah, this stuff is kind of legit and real and crystals are a thing and energy is a thing. Yeah. Sorry, I don't. We could go even further, but we'd be here for hours.
No, it's just weird, especially this one stands out the most right here.
Yep.
Because there's only a few people that actually know how deep I've been in depression.
Well, be careful.
Lately.
I was just going to say, because there's 20-something thousand listeners that are going to know now.
Now I know everything.
I never see them, but there's only been a few people here that know how deep I've been in depression, and this basically just says depression.
It's depression.
And the only people that really know is my wife and him. Yeah. I've been having some fucked up issues lately.
Yeah.
And shit with it, trying to deal with it to get myself out of the. Well, I can't get myself out of the slump.
But you will eventually. I think a lot of it's changing that perspective. And I know it's easier said than done, but you've now basically the universe has called you out on it. Be like, look, I see you. I know what state that you're in, and it's completely consuming your world.
I don't know. It has, because I'm not gonna lie, because all I do is. This is weird. This is blowing my mind. It's weird because
it's kind of like I said. I wasn't really a believer, but I'm really getting into this right now. I'm being dead serious.
This comes up. I've been putting on the most biggest act. Mm-hmm. So besides the people that are close to me that know, don't know, and he's even said I can't tell because I've been putting on the biggest act. When I'm out in public, it's smiles, goofy mad, but at home I'm got demons that I'm having issues dealing with, and that's
So the outcome of that is basically just keep trudging along, and the universe knows that
it's not just trudging along. It's because especially with this card, that 4 of Cups says to me that there's some inner work that you need to do in order to get out of this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so don't just give it time, but keep working on it
exactly
throughout time.
Exactly. It's obviously you have to give any sort of, especially a depressive state of mind, time to get through it, to work itself out. But there's a reason why you're in this state right now. There's a reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And if you don't know what that is, then you practice something like shadow work, where you play the why game with yourself, where if you're having a moment where you're feeling really low and really depressed and you want to sit down with a piece of paper, with a journal, whatever, and you ask yourself why, and then you answer that question, and then you keep asking yourself why and answering those questions until you get to the root of the problem. And then you figure out okay, so this is why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. How do I fix that? How do I change that?
This is more beneficial to me than a therapist, I think, right now. I'm serious. I know I joke around a lot and stuff, but I'm really getting into I'm excited to see what they say about me. But it's real. I'm almost better therapy. Maybe I just relate better to it than a therapist.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the times that I hear people that, because I also highly recommend, like, if you need to see a therapist, go and see a therapist.
Sure.
But I definitely can understand how people can relate to this more, just because a lot of the times you go to a therapist and they're like, well, how do you feel about that? Instead of being like, okay, this is how you can help yourself. You might not be able to fix it without going to a therapist, but you can still figure out ways that can help you to feel better.
Well, it couldn't hurt. In other words, it can't hurt to pay attention to this.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So what do you think? And I'm not picking on you. What do you think from after hearing this? What's your...
Well, these are 5 random cards that fell out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides a little bit that we talked about, those cards had no idea what the hell I was doing or what we were talking about earlier. They just fell out of there.
Sure.
By chance, by coincidence, I don't know, but I mean, yeah.
I think that's what spirituality is, right? Coincidence, chance.
A lot of it. I mean, and that's the thing, is that, like, you can also argue that maybe it's not coincidence, that maybe that, there's this divine plan that the universe has for you.
It's not like she was shuffling through the cards going, I need to pick this one.
Yeah.
I was watching her shuffle the cards.
They fell out.
And they were just falling out. And then she would just put them there. It wasn't like she knew what cards she would. Didn't have them laid out and go, I'm going to pick that one because we were talking about that earlier. They just fucking fell out.
And we could even, like,
and especially this one, because she didn't know how bad I was. I said, yeah, I got a little bad luck going on, but I mean,
right, that's as far as she knew.
Yeah, it wasn't like the 10 swords and about depression and shit. And
7 swords.
Or 7 swords.
No, it's 10 of swords.
Oh, it's 10 of swords?
I pay attention, all right?
What is there? Was there a 7 of anything? Where did I come up with that number?
What was this one?
No, this was the 6 of wands.
You know what? I'm just going to go back right over here.
So, I mean, and also, too, like, if I were to pull more cards, because usually when I do readings for people, whether it's a half hour, or whatever, I usually pull a ton of cards just because I feel like it makes me feel a little bit better, so I can get a little bit more information, so I don't feel like I'm just, like, talking out my butt. But I guess
we should say, too, for the listeners and the people watching and stuff, that if you guys were interested in having Michelle do this for you, there's more to this. We're kind of doing like a scaled down version because we got to fit it.
I'm seriously thinking about having her come up to the house sometime.
I would absolutely do that.
And actually do
without all this shit and just do her thing.
Yeah.
Right now, like I say, I want to make sure the listeners aren't like, oh, she does it for 10 minutes and she goes on to the next. But that's not it. I don't think. No. It's just that we're kind of pushing her along because of the schedule with the show and stuff. So she's kind of giving us a quick. I would imagine you get a lot deeper into this in a real reading and a real.
Absolutely. Like with this, like I'd pull more cards and we would probably talk about why you do feel that way and just diving deeper and kind of trying to understand why you're in that state of mind. Like this is like, it feels very vague to me. And I don't like doing vague readings. I don't like...
Sure, and I can believe that. I can see why. That's why I want to make sure the listeners know that, this isn't what you get when you have her come here. There's way deeper than this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's why I'm definitely going to have you come back to our house and just do me, my wife, my son,
I'd be
Wes,
more than happy to.
His girl, whatever, actually sit down and do it.
Like a real thing. Like do it on her terms. Let her give her the money and let her do it how she does it and be done with it instead of this kind of half-ass. And I don't mean that. And like she's doing great but we're not really allowing her to get into it because we got to move on to things and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, and that's okay. Like I had said before, like it's like I can't dive deeper because
I just don't want I don't want to hurt your business and have people be like, that's it, that's all, because there's way more. Just I'm pushing her.
People that believe in this that are going to book with me anyway, they already believe that tarot works.
That's fair. Yeah.
If there are other people that it's usually the skeptics because they've seen what I've done. That's why they book with me. So it's okay. Like if people think that like I'm full of crap, it's okay.
Right. Yeah. I guess you got to be in the mind. I guess that's why I'm excited for a reading too, just because of how quick she caught on to your stuff. I'm like. I want to believe. I do want to believe. And maybe that seemed to like put me in a different mind frame for it. It made me believe more so just having her read for you.
Yeah.
Now, for a reading for me, can you? Will you use the same deck, or do you get like a feeling for a person which deck you should use?
Yes, occasionally I do. I definitely. So what I do, like if I use the same deck, which I feel like I should use the same deck. What I do, it's kind of a witch thing where like I will knock on the deck 3 times. It kind of clears the energy out. So that way, like, because sometimes like it's happened before where like I'll forget to do that, and then I end up like the cards that come out they would be for you. And I'd be like, wait, this is not, because and I'll usually catch on to that. We're like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like this is a reason.
So you can feel this in you.
Yeah.
That something's not, you're off a little, and then you'll do, okay.
Absolutely. Like I just did a bunch because I did a Mystic Fair in the last couple of days, and I was doing back readings, and there was a couple of times where I'm like, this isn't for you. This was the person that was before you. So let's kind of clear that energy up. So are we doing it? We doing this?
I don't know. I'm afraid to hear what's coming, but I guess it's all on how I deal with it.
That's okay. I mean,
so that's the clearing there that you did.
That's the clearing.
All right.
I am going to shuffle a little bit though. Sorry, the wires are. Whew.
What did you say? The waters?
No, the wires are in my way.
Oh, the wires. I thought you said. I thought it was like a spiritual term. I'm like, oh god.
No.
What do you mean the waters are rough?
The literal wires that are here.
Open.
Oh my god.
Okay. Ooh, not too many.
So you're doing this all by? Oh boy. Oh boy.
We'll see if those come back out.
I'm getting cool. This is cool to me now.
Oh boy.
That's okay. I like that one. It just doesn't matter what I like. Really, I got to let it just flow.
You literally said earlier that that the love card. You literally have the lovers that came out.
That's the love card.
One of them. One of several. And
I'm more scared of that than the death card,
because I like if there's too many cards that spill out, and there was like 4 or 5 cards coming out, usually that's just kind of just my error. This was the only single card that came out, so there you go.
That was kind of I saw with just that one fall out. I'm like, well, that's got to be one.
Oh my lord!
All right, so let's see.
It's so random, like you said. You can't.
Yeah,
like look at that.
There you go. Like.
The laughing's scaring me, man, a little.
Sorry. This won't feel right either.
So sometimes they'll fall out, and you can feel though. You're like, I don't know if you guys at home listened and heard that, but she's like, that just doesn't feel right. So it's almost like something in you that.
Yeah, that's just kind of just like, no, that's not. Because sometimes it could be one of the cards could be what's meant for you, but sometimes like I'm human. I'm shuffling the cards.
When you got 10 cards that fall out, I was like, yeah, okay.
So I guess I'm looking too deep into it. Not every time something flies out. Sometimes it was literally just a mistake with your hands.
Just watching her shuffle and just one card pops out, you kind of start thinking like, yeah, maybe that's probably the card that probably should be falling out.
Does something tell you how many cards to do? Like, do you keep going? Because I noticed you're already at the card limit for where he was.
Yeah, there's. It usually depends upon what the cards are, and then my intuition saying like, okay, this is good. Stop. I'm gonna pull one more.
So something tells you you felt something that maybe you need one more.
And it's sometimes that it's just purely because I just need more information because I something doesn't make sense.
I'm intrigued by how she even lays the cards out, to be honest with you. There's like a rhyme or reason to that.
It's just how I do it. It's really
cool.
just how I do it. I used to do when I first started, I would do all these different kind of spreads and stuff. Sorry.
Oh, gosh.
I would do all these different kind of spreads and whatnot, and it just didn't work for me.
So I'll tell you my 3 favorite. Maybe I'm screwing her up by doing this. I'm just trying to. My 3 favorite are these 2 and that one, and I don't know why, but I felt like I should let you know that before you go on. Maybe it meant something in the end. I'm trying to like open my mind and do like just. And those are the three that stand out to me.
Well, it's interesting that those are your three favorite because these are the three, the only three in this entire spread that are the major arcana. And major arcana are the ones that like, those are like the big cards. Those are the ones with like big emotional stuff, like big events, big things like that are just, they mean a lot. And then the rest of these are like, they're the court cards that kind of give you the details of what's going on. So I find it interesting because again, what I said before, usually when you put it out into the universe, you talk about something, and especially if you make fun of it, it's gonna come up in the cards. So literally the first card that came out was the Lovers. And then, this talks about, because it can talk about a couple of different things. It can talk about just your emotions. It can talk about a relationship. It can talk about a partnership. It could talk about business. It could, all that type of stuff. But given the rest of the cards, there's some stuff.
Oh, there's plenty of stuff in this head of mine.
So I'll go to, the second card that came out was, at least in this deck, it's the Son of Pentacles, but it's typically the Knight of Pentacles in other decks. So usually when I see this card, it's talking about very slow energy. And usually, because like, okay, so let me back up for a second. You have kind of contradictory cards here. You have very slow energy, and then you have this Eight of Wands, which is usually talking about very quick, very just like things happening very, very quickly. And I feel like with that, having that duality and with the other cards present, I feel like it's you kind of go this back and forth. Again, okay, I'm just plugging it in every time.
How did you know?
I'm so psychic.
How did you know?
I'm a witch.
She's good.
I try. But I feel like that there's like almost like a conflict going in with you in terms of like wanting that companionship, and then also kind of keeping people at arm's length. And I feel like that happens with a lot of not just like romantic relationships, but also like in a lot of different relationships. So I'm guessing by the laugh, I'm kind of
yeah.
So there's the reason why I laughed about this card. So that's the Emperor card, and
that's me, Emperor. I prefer His Majesty.
Oddly enough, and I find this hilarious because I call the Emperor card, no matter what deck it's in, I call it the Big Dick Energy card.
That's also me. Also me, Big Dick Energy. Well, she knows her shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm about to kind of burst the bubble for a second, but I'm sorry. A lot of that, I feel like it's like you have that confidence, but there's that underlying like not being super unsure of yourself sometimes, where you're like, well, shit, like no, I can like present this energy to other people, and I got this. This is fine. But in the back of your mind, you're questioning everything.
Yeah.
So what this does, you have this Chariot card. The Chariot card is talking about forward movement, and it's the energy that spurs you forward. And I feel like with these other cards here, because you have this Daughter of Wands and Daughter of Cups, these talk about like the cups and the wands talk about like the cups talk about emotions, and wands is usually about like creativity and that type of thing. I feel like while you are partly emperor, you have a lot of things about yourself that are still, I feel like I'm insulting you and I'm so sorry.
No, you got to do it. I'm open-minded to it.
It's not necessarily a maturity level, but it's like not fully grasping certain aspects of yourself. That like the emotional aspect, I feel like is still not in its infancy, but is still like you're struggling with it. You're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
What I get from this is the cards say that I'm awesome, but I could be better. I could be even better.
Essentially, I mean...
This one said I had a big dick, Matt. Simple as that. And you can't... It fell out.
You know exactly what those cards are saying.
I know, and that's
I
why
know exactly what the fuck they're saying.
That's why I'm joking like I am, because it's all making sense.
I know exactly what the fuck they're saying about you.
Because it's not, and I don't want it, like, it's not meant to be insulting.
Absolutely.
No, it's not. I don't think it's insulting at all.
I didn't take it that way at all.
Okay, good.
You kind of had a little thing with me we talked about out there, but you really don't know shit about him. And the shit that you just throw out there and explained, yep.
You know.
Now what do I do?
Well, if I had, if there was more time, we could pull out more cards.
There will be. We're gonna have. We're gonna
have her come to the house one night and sit down and do her thing and explain things more. And because I'm starting to.
I make people cry though, so just heads up.
No, that's okay. Well, sometimes people need to cry.
Exactly.
Well, you pull out the big dick card and you're like, I don't mean to burst your bubble. I almost cried.
Because with just this right here, with me and with him, and then there's like other things that I'm maybe start reading about. Maybe these crystals really are a thing, and stuff like that, and everything. So like burning sage, is that really a thing?
It is. You definitely want to be careful though, because a lot of sage burning is practices for indigenous people. So there's a lot of people that get very, very bent out of shape, and understandably so, where they're like, these are closed practices.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to say that, like, you're smoke cleansing and not smudging. Like, it works.
Smoke cleansing.
But like, use, maybe don't use white sage. Maybe like burn, like there's different bundles out there that like that it's like pine or something like that. They all mean something different. Just use incense.
So sage has become one of the things where people buy a crystal and they think they're a witch.
Exactly.
Sage has kind of become the same thing.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing.
I just feel like
I don't want that. I want like the real shit. I don't want the fake shit.
Well, I have people. They're like, you should burn sage in your house, and I guess in my mind, I'm like, for what? Like, I get that there's some meaning to it, but I feel like if they don't know what they're doing with it, you're just burning something in my house. Is all it comes down to.
I mean, it's you're taking away. You're supposed to be at least taking away negative energy when it comes to when you're burning sage. But like, there's a meme on the internet about like you're trying to get rid of your demons and you're not opening up your windows because they need somewhere to go when you're burning sage and all that. But like, people don't realize sometimes what they're doing and what they're doing with that particular item. Like the same thing with like Palo Santo. Like, it's a stick of wood, but it's you burn it. It's something that it's very sacred to a lot of different cultures. So you just have to be a little bit more respectful of that. So like, that's why I try to like you can use sage. It's okay. It's not a terrible thing to use sage, but just be mindful of that type of stuff. That's all.
Is there something you would suggest to listeners or us to not do if they were going to practice witchcraft, like opening up doors or things? Is there anything that really stands out that could really screw you up if you do it at home?
Yes, there's a lot of people that will just kind of dive into spell work, where they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do a spell jar and it's going to be great." But if you don't know how to protect yourself, you could be opening a door to so many different spirits or entities that. Because usually when you're doing energy work like that, when you're doing spell crafting, you are getting the attention of not so great things sometimes. You'll get the attention of more positive energies, but a lot of the times that like there's some negative energies that are all about like, hey, like I'm going to screw that up, and I'm going to make that person's life terrible. So you want to be able to protect yourself, and it's not just because I pride myself kind of on being a witch that is not all about love and light, because there's that toxicity with love and light people that are like everything's all positive and wonderful. No, because there's some terrible things out there that want to do you harm. So protecting yourself, and not just protecting yourself in a shroud of white light, understanding what it means to protect yourself. Like, yes, having the crystals around, but also like a lot of witches use black salt, and a combination of black salt and coffin nails. They're not actually from coffins. They're just iron nails. But that all that stuff combines to protect somebody. So if somebody wants to do this, message me first. But definitely protect yourself first, because there's a number of things that you can get in trouble with.
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound nice. Black salt and coffin nails doesn't sound like a good thing at all.
But it protects you. It's protective.
But if you don't do it right, it could screw you too.
Exactly. Like, that's why you want to talk to somebody that's experienced. And like, yes, like, shameless plug for Bad Omen. By all means, come and talk to me. But if there's somebody that you trust that is a practicing witch and you want to learn about witchcraft, go to them, talk to them, see what they say. Don't just dive into it. This isn't TikTok. This isn't like, if you are 13 years old and being like, I'm going to practice witchcraft today. Like, please don't do that. Because it is something that like it can be very serious.
You end up like The Craft.
Yeah. You don't want that kind of,
Or like, Hocus Pocus. You light the candle and then...
I never seen it.
You never saw Hocus Pocus?
What?
Well, the second one was actually really good.
She said the same thing. She said, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
Well, did you see the second one?
I did.
I thought the second one was really good.
It was good. It was cute. It was definitely cute. I do have to say, the movie The Craft, oddly enough, gets, while it's very crazy, gets a lot of things right.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are like covenants and stuff. Like,
there's definitely covens. Like the binding spell that she does in it is legit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's there's obviously variations.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But it's pretty.
I should watch that tonight. It's been years since I watched it.
It's a good one.
That was a good one.
I mean, you can't.
Charmed.
We're not levitating.
I was Charmed. Was Charmed like, or was that like totally like off the?
I mean, they try. There's definitely most shows and movies, it derives from something. But most of the time it's
like the Power of Three. Is that like a thing? Like the Power of Three?
It is. That's more of a Wiccan thing.
A Wiccan thing?
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite witch type movie? And what would be your most realistic?
So I would probably say my favorite is Practical Magic.
Okay.
Just because it's just
who's in
90s
that?
Nostalgia. Sandra Bullock.
Yes,
and,
yes, that's it. Yep.
Oh God, what's her name? Nicole Kidman.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff that's that's very typical of like what witches do, but like nobody can blow on a candle and have a flame come out. Even if they say they can, they're full of shit.
They're full of shit.
That's all added for TV, right? Like you're not going to wake up in the morning floating over your bed. It's just TV nonsense.
Exactly. And then I'm sorry, what was the second part of that question?
What would your most realistic? Like what one do you look at and like, wow, this is spot on?
I honestly cannot think of one. I mean,
although that's probably a hard question because all of Hollywood is going to make them over the top.
Yes, everything is like I would say.
I guess the way I've watched Michael Francis on YouTube, and he was an ex-mobster, and he talks about mob movies, and he tells which one is the most real to life, and I guess that's what came to my head. But in this situation, like which one is the most real to her?
Well, it kind of sounded like The Craft was pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely aspects of it, but there's aspects of Practical Magic that are fairly real, so to speak. I mean, but like you look at like the movie The Witches of Eastwick.
Yes, I was going to say that one.
I love that movie,
but totally not even close.
No, I mean, but there's using when she makes the voodoo doll essentially when she crafts out of the candle wax. Like people do that, and it does for the most part work. Depending if you know what you're talking.
Is that the one where they shrunk the little girl?
No.
Witches of Eastwick.
There was 3 of them, and then there was a guy.
There's always 3 of them. Seems like
Jack Nicholson.
It's a big, the whole power of 3 thing is a big, thing for people that think that witches are.
Shit! Well, no, the craft there was 4, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but 3 of them were bad.
With 3, yeah.
Well, no, really, 1 was only really bad. The other 2 just kind of followed along.
Yeah, they did what? That was more like Mean Girls, but with witches.
Well, the thing, I mean, like the thing with having the 4, because it's that to me, they were focusing on the elements. So, like, if you look at like the star, like that, the pentacle, it's all the points represent an element.
Oh, good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing you see with like the candles and the star with the circle around it. What does that represent? What is that?
That's essentially that. It's just elements. It
So
just
it's
represents
not
elements.
like the devil star.
No.
Right, you always see that and think devil.
No.
Yeah.
It's not, like you see, pentagrams, pentacles, and stuff like that. Like it can be for people, but like people that are Satanists, like you look at like their creed and they like, don't do harm to anyone unless they do harm to you. And they're usually pretty cool, chill people.
You got anything to get rid of flies?
Not on me.
Now, is salt really a big thing like in the movies? Like
it's super
people
protective.
putting salt around them to keep bad things away from, or like demons or spirits or whatever?
Yeah, it like essentially acts like a barrier for energies.
Okay.
And I mean, like, and that's the thing is like with any kind of like, if you think about with science in general, like not everything is going to work all the time, 100% of the time, but usually
almost.
Like I tell people to like keep it simple. Like if you're doing protections or if, doing some sort of spell work, like, just use salt. Don't go crazy trying to find like that one ingredient from whatever.
I'm just going to dig a hole in the salt shed at work. Maybe that'll work.
Just climb in for a little while.
I mean, that's a mountain of salt.
All right, listen, let me ask you something. I want to try something, and we don't have to because I don't know how all the spiritual stuff works. So don't be afraid to tell me no. But I kind of picture your deck of cards like a seeing eye dog in a way. If somebody else touches them, can it screw things up?
It can.
Okay.
So this is the thing. So I
guess what I was getting at, I was going to see if I could do a reading on you and do the best I can. And you can laugh at me or whatever, but I don't want to touch your cards if it's going to.
Well, this is the thing. So I usually don't let people kind of screw with the deck.
Then we won't.
But this is a brand new deck, and I haven't used it yet. So if you want to, by all means,
I will. But I don't want to. I'll listen to whatever you say. I don't want to screw anything up for you.
I'll just cleanse it later.
Is each card a different thing?
Yes.
So there's that many different pictures on.
There's 73 cards in a tarot deck. 72, 73. What are the two?
That's a lot. But they all mean different things.
So you're certain this isn't gonna? I don't want to.
You'll be fine.
Don't say it just because you feel like I don't want to.
So here you go. You're gonna have bad things attached to you now.
I don't know.
I told you.
I'm not going into it with a bad, for that reason.
I even have the book with me too, if you want to use the book.
Oh, there's
so you know the meanings of stuff.
I'm gonna come up with the meanings, I think, and I'm gonna try to be as serious as I can. I'm not joking either, Matt. I'm not like trying to get.
I know
bad. I want to just see if what comes to my head, and just let it go. So we got the Knight of Candles and the Queen of Candles.
Okay.
So maybe we're meant to be.
I mean, maybe.
Do you read yourself at all?
I do.
Like, do you go to them for like to try to get like advice or something, or to try to figure things out?
So usually when I tell people with doing readings for yourself, it's very difficult to do readings for yourself because your own emotions get caught into the reading. So a lot of times, like if I want a specific outcome to come out and my cards are like, nope, then I'm just gonna like, fine. Like, and I ignore it. So I very rarely, if at all, ever read myself anymore.
Do you have like someone do it for you?
Yeah, typically.
Okay.
This is very interesting over there.
Is it? See, this is why I want to do it, because she's looking at this like she knows.
She probably already knows what it says.
But it's depending upon your interpretation, because what I interpret could be something totally different from what you interpret.
Well, I see the most important as the Death and the Knight of Candles card. And the Death card is above the Knight of Candles card and the Queen of Candles card.
Mm-hmm.
The Queen of Candles laid out above the Knight of Candles. So I'm going to take that as a sign, like the way that they're overlapping, and then this isn't overlap. I don't know. I'm just trying to get really. I'm not trying to like joke or make fun.
No,
I'm just
go
trying
for
to
it.
do what's in my. But I don't know. What is this? Oh, these say things.
They're just they're Edgar Allan Poe quotes.
Oh, they are?
This is a Poe tarot.
I
deck.
love Edgar Allan Poe.
Me too.
So the Knight of Candles tells me, and I don't want to say something that's going to like upset you either. I don't know how.
You're not going to. You're fine.
And I feel like I don't. Can you ask a question? Are you in a relationship? Are you married?
I am not.
Well, I see it coming.
Well, do ya?
Yep.
News to me.
Well, I take you, and I'm going to interpret this as you are a powerful person, like a dominant almost.
Sure.
And when we're done, you can tell me how screwed up this is. I take you as a and I see that because the Queen of Candles is above this new interest in your life.
Okay.
That is fairly close. Does it bother you that there's not, and I mean this in no disrespect, but
No,
has it been in your head that you're, like, does it bother you that you're single? Are you wanting to be with
Now,
somebody?
yes,
I think it
yes.
bothers everybody,
Yeah.
really, when it comes down to it. Well, the Death card is showing me that is coming to an end.
Okay.
It doesn't tell me when, but it's not very far away. But in retrospect, I mean, not very far away. It could be 1,000 years, or it could be 1 year, it could be a month. I don't know. It doesn't say that, but it's coming. You have good stuff coming.
Okay.
Man, look at this.
But I see you as the dominant in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something you're going to have to keep in mind, because I think a lot of times.
Fuck.
Well, what happened over here?
Oh, no.
All I know, I just opened the book random, and guess what one came up first? The Knight of Candles.
Yeah, well, see.
Would you look at that?
This is
See?
That was just fuck. That just
That just strengthens
Magic.
my point.
Yeah.
So this what you're upset about not of not being with somebody at the moment is coming to an end.
Okay.
And
I'm all about that.
That Knight
but
card.
but this tells me you're going to have to the hanged one underneath these two tell me that I feel like women usually want a dominant male.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually attracted to that, but I think this is not going to be the case, and it's going to surprise you.
Oh boy.
That you being the dominant one in the relationship. I'm not saying that he's going to be beta, but I think you're going to be the dominant one. You're going to make some choices, and he's going to be okay with that. But I think what I'm gathering from the hanged one card is you're going to have to be okay with that.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
okay.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. That was weird. Go ahead.
So
well, let me give you the meaning of the Knight of Candles.
Okay.
It's good. It means action. Well, it says upright action required, change or important encounters, changing ahead. So you kind of talked about something might be changing.
Right. It's going to change. Right.
Yep. Now, what's the reversal? This could be also what it means too. Correct? The reversed.
It could, yeah, but it didn't. The card
Recklessness,
didn't come up
haste,
reversed.
Or
that's if they're upside down.
Oh, so it means which way.
I
to
didn't.
cut.
Yeah, and they're
I
all
didn't know.
set right.
Oh,
I
upright.
usually don't read reversals. I will flip my cards back over.
That's
just
what I
because,
did. I didn't know you.
No,
could.
you're okay with that. That's okay because I don't read reversals. Usually reversals are like blocked energy.
let's find what the queen means. Passionate, able to balance work, home, outgoing, confidence. Engaged,
That's gonna. It's gonna right. And that's so. And he's not gonna be quite that way, but she's gonna have to understand that, or maybe you won't have to understand it, but maybe you just will understand that
Yeah.
and be okay with that, even though he might not be the alpha that typically
okay.
women are into.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Like
that's a different Knight of Candles.
Shut up,
That's
Matt.
not
You
the
were
one I
doing so
had.
good. You-
It's
ruined.
No, I'm sorry. No,
Never mind. You're not gonna find anyone single the rest of your life.
no.
Thanks, Matt.
That is the one. Now, what's the other one? The Hangman.
Well, then the third one that came up, if you're going in order, was the death card was above these two.
How do I?
It went this one, then this one on top, and then this one on top of both of them.
I believe the major arcana are in the back. Yeah. I know I haven't looked through that book yet, but
Matt's doing he's just for the listeners that we didn't. You're not buffering on the radio. He's looking up.
I'm looking to see if there's like a glossary to know which one I go.
But see, I love this type of stuff.
I'm trying to see if there's like a glossary so I can figure out what page it's on. So I don't have to flip through all.
So while he's looking at that, how do you feel about that reading?
Oddly enough, pretty spot on. I mean, you could pull more cards and see what, like obviously what we talked about before, like diving in deeper. But yeah.
Well, I would, but I just didn't get it was the four, and I felt like that was what I had to do.
Well, I mean, you were pretty spot on. I literally, what you were saying before is something that I was talking about with a friend the other day about just kind of being at a point where I'm like, look, like I am who I am and I love who I am. So I'm whatever guy is like, hey, that's cool. She's awesome. I mean, not whatever guy. So
yeah,
I'm not going to just like take some Joe Schmo off the street. But
I think I'm figuring out this book now.
I hope you figured out before the 2 hours is up. Well, this episode comes out Monday, just so you know.
Okay, so I can't. I'm not okay.
Here, I'll find it for you.
She's professional.
Yeah, I want to see what the Hangman. Is that the Hangman?
Well, it went Knight of Candles, then Queen of Candles, then the Death card, and then the Hanged one.
Okay.
In that order. I feel like I don't know enough about it, but I feel like the fact that these are overlapping and then this one was completely off of it, I feel like would mean something if I was better at this.
I mean, it can. If that's how you read, then that's how you read.
That's how I've been doing it for years.
I gotcha. If that's what your intuition told you, then
okay, here we go.
So it says the death card.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's fucking huge.
I think there's keywords down there that you could probably.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I got
Is there pictures that he can read?
Cooing, COONING. Am I pronouncing that right?
Oh, cocooning.
Cocooning. Oh, okay, cocooning.
What are you looking up right now? The death card?
No, the hanged one. And then cocooning, step back, letting go, trusts the process.
Exactly.
Lesson.
Exactly what I said. Whatever. This may not be the ideal situation of a relationship where the woman is the dominant one, but you're just going to step back. I keep saying you're going to have to, but that's not it. I think you're going to naturally just fall for this guy, and you're just going to naturally step back and let that happen. Just as if
right.
just.
It could be Bob Ross.
I'm good at this.
It could be Bob Ross.
Yeah, but Nicole Ross is here, so I don't know if she's going to allow that.
We kind of have,
it's sort of awkward. It's fine. It's fine.
We already kind of know what we already kind of know what the death card means. It doesn't necessarily mean death. It could just,
right. That's her letting go of this.
Letting things go, changing.
I don't want to say lonely. Maybe not lonely, but this feeling of this sucks. I'm alone. This sucks. She's going to let go of that, and it's going to naturally happen. According to the reading.
Perfect.
Is that what you kind of saw when you saw that, or no?
I mean,
I don't think it works like that, does it?
It really it doesn't. Like I said before, like I have my own interpretation of that.
How would you read this?
Not
for yourself.
Well, that's the thing is that it's not my reading. Cards, yeah, right? it's your reading for me. Mm-hmm. So like if I was reading you, it'd be a totally different thing. Like that meaning
these
of
same
those
cards could come out and mean totally.
Yeah,
I get that.
Because like I read intuitively too. So it's.
But yours could be meaningful because you're the one that did it. So this actually could be.
I believe in this. Because I wasn't joking. Like I do a lot of joking and try to for humor for the show and stuff. But I just read that as I saw it, and that's why I want to make sure she didn't think I was making fun of her or not.
Absolutely
I don't know her home situation or whatever, so I didn't want to piss her off. But
no, you're fine.
That's what made me. That's what I just came up. That's all. I just came up with that, and my intuition is what it made me think.
Yeah.
And glad I'm projecting that. So.
And it was, it was right on, Matt. Right on. Just so you know.
Yeah. Now, what's a guy witch? A warlock? Is it a warlock, or the guys are
They
just
can call
called
themselves witches. It's
witches?
fine.
Okay.
I honestly it's my own personal thing. I just think it sounds ridiculous when you just call somebody a warlock. If that's what they want to call themselves, that's fine. But I think it's a little ridiculous.
You want to try it?
No, I'm good.
You don't want to try to read her?
No. I'm good. I just
really no need after that reading I did. There's really not much more you can.
nothing else.
Yeah, you read her already. I'm still in.
I guess I would just.
I'm still in.
I'd like to see the different. What your intuition would show.
Yeah, go for it.
If you don't mind, this is about you. This show is about you. I don't want to.
And I appreciate that, but I like this is the type of stuff. Like I said, like I love this stuff. Like I love like teaching tarot. And,
see,
you know,
that was a bunch of them.
Yeah, that was a bunch of them. I'm not gonna quite go with that many because that was.
And you also don't have to. You don't have to shuffle the way I shuffle.
Oh, okay.
You can also just cut the deck. Like you can just do however you want to do it.
I like the looks of that. I like the red on the sides.
Isn't it cool?
like
That's part of the reason why I got it because it looks really cool. And I love Edgar Allan Poe.
So do I. I keep turning them upside down. Well, I'm starting to get some.
Are you starting to feel something? I hope we're not coming off like we're picking on you because that's not what this is. We had no intention of making fun of you or anything like that. It's
a heck of a lot to piss me off.
Good, because that's not our intention. I know. I guess just having fun, entertainment for the show for us, and to kind of switch things up a little bit and do it to you.
I'm down for this.
I really take this seriously.
And I appreciate that. But like that's the whole thing is that like witchcraft doesn't always need to be taken so seriously. Like tarot doesn't always need to be
feel like it could be fun too.
Exactly. It should be.
Yeah, right. Or why would you even do it if it wasn't any fun?
Oh, okay, so we got the Queen of Wells. We got Six of Paws, the Lovers. We got the Knights of Candles and the Four Wells.
She's doing some. She's got her eyes are rolling or something. So I feel like she's got an idea already.
So I kind of got a feel. I kind of feel these cards are still playing off of what he pulled.
I agree.
I do. I really got a strong feeling these cards literally are playing
let's hear
off
about
what
it. That's
you
great.
pulled.
That's good.
And what you were going along talking about. Now, do you have to read them in the order they came out, or can you just read them any which way?
Yeah, whatever you feel.
Because the one that really stood out to me the most was the Six of Paws about finally meet. I'm just going off of what the picture looks like. I don't really know what it means, but it feels like you see looks like a cat with another cat sitting next to each other, sharing a romantic moment, looking at the moon, and talking about her possible new love adventures. That means to me it feels like it's coming. And then when this one came up, I'm like, yep, there it is, because there's the two lovers.
Oh yeah, that's two girls.
No, it's not. It's a guy. He's got a mustache.
I'm upside down.
Oh, I thought it was two girls.
Hell, she's got a mustache.
But to me, I kind of feel like maybe the person that the two lovers sharing a kiss with, I think you might have already shared a kiss with this person, and you don't know yet.
Interesting.
Yep. And and then
trying to think the last time I actually kissed somebody.
Oh, okay.
Terrible.
I suck at this then.
No, and I feel like I don't want.
Yeah, but there's so many. Like this could have been a childhood friend, like a kiss when you were 9 with your neighbor, and now all of a sudden you meet him.
Yeah,
it could have been.
And a year from now or a month from now, and that's him.
That's very possible. Yeah.
And then you got the King of Candles.
There was a lot of breath came out on that one.
I just don't really know what. See, now I'm kind of getting maybe or maybe. Oh, I don't know.
Well, look it up.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Do you want me to look it up while you're talking? Does that make it easier or no?
This book's so long.
I can look it up.
She's easy. She's faster.
So explain to me what's going on. You look at that one and you did like huffing and puffing, and then you can't really figure what's going on in your head. It's like
I don't know. I mean, just by looking at the pictures.
Is it blurry to you?
No, it's not blurry. It's just looking at the pictures. I'm just not quite sure what the picture looks to me and what could possibly really mean. Could be totally two different things. I'm only going off what the picture looks like. Take charge, leader. See, now this means completely opposite of what I was getting from just looking at the picture. Highly, I can't fucking pronounce words today. Charismatic, or that word. And then very creative.
I feel like the book kind of takes away from it.
It does.
I
That's
feel
why
like
I don't use it.
this book tells you how to read, where I feel like readings should be more about intuition and what you're feeling when the cards come out.
Definitely. So that's why especially when I teach tarot, like I tell people to like learn the basic meanings for everything, and then once you have that down, then get rid of the book altogether and then
I could see
start
that.
reading intuitively.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because then once you have like the meaning, because like just because you feel something, if this just because that means something in the book doesn't mean that like because you felt something with this card.
Well, actually, now knowing what this card feels to me and this card feels to me kind of changes this a little bit in my eyes. Now I feel like you might have shared a kiss with somebody, but I feel like heartbroken and sorrow with these cards. Like,
speak on that. What do you? All right,
just open it right up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to.
No, you're.
I'm actually really interested in what you got to say, how your brain is working on this.
That's fine.
But then now I see like, okay, at one point you shared a kiss with somebody that you had a relationship with, then you had heartbreak and sorrow. But then you got the Queen of Wells that's rising above and up out of the well to take on a bigger endeavor that he pulled up before. So there is somebody coming new.
So that
works.
So basically what you're saying is like there might have been a wrong relationship that caused her a lot of heartache, but in the reality that wasn't the right relationship for her.
Yes.
And that card you're saying is like the new one that's coming.
This one's like your rebirth. You're coming up out of the well and then you're coming out strong and then you're going to find the right one.
So either way, so it's coming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down for it. I mean, and that's honestly, that's pretty spot on. Like I not to get like too deep here, but like I've been for the most part electively single for a good 4 years now. But now I'm kind of like, all right, I'm done. let's move this along. So yeah, no, you're
okay.
Both of you. Look at that.
We're witches almost.
You're witches. Could be a part of my coven.
There we go.
Yeah. See, and you were all worried that this is going to be bad. She's like accepting of all of it.
Yeah. No, I didn't think original session would be bad. I was just always afraid. Like I didn't want to open Pandora's box type per se. Like if you got cards come up and then all of a sudden like all weird shit starts happening to you because I don't know.
No.
But with her talking about all this stuff, I feel a lot more comfortable. I do want her to come back and actually do a real thing.
Yeah.
Like we'll whatever it costs, come.
$3 million.
Well, I don't know about that.
Not bad. Let's sign up.
It's
What is a typical, just for our listeners that are like, geez, I'd like to have her come to my house.
Yeah.
Would you talk about prices or no?
Yeah, no, I can talk about prices. Usually, so my hourly rate for readings, I charge $75 an hour. And then for a half hour, it's $40. But if you wanted to do like a party or something, like where you have multiple people, like I'm totally willing to work with you in terms of pricing, just because, if I'm going to be there for a good 5 hours, like it's also that it can get expensive. Like I don't just do this for the money, I do need to eat. I have a dog at home, things like that. But like, plus you're driving to places, you can't do it for cheap. You have to I have to be able to supplement, my income somehow. So,
so you'll go to people's houses. Mm-hmm. Well, do you have a place that people can come to you or no? Is that?
I do have, there's a couple of places that as of right now, I do readings. There is Reiki Rocks on Western Ave. She's actually going to be switching soon to a new place in the same plaza. But I do readings there usually once a month. But I do readings at 19 Colvin Ave in Albany. Mm-hmm. Every Thursday, usually from 1 to 5, depending. But just, you can, if anybody wants a reading, it's usually like half-hour readings then. If you want a half-hour reading, just message me and we can set something up. Figure it out. I also go to people's houses. Like
Yeah,
that's probably what we would do. I would like chip in and we'd all.
Yeah, well,
it's much more relaxed that way, to be perfectly honest, because not going into somebody else's space. Like I much rather go to somebody's home. Mm-hmm. I get a better feeling for people that way. Yeah.
So how do they get a hold of you again, just for people that...
You can go on to, so all of my social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's all at Beware Bad Omen. But I also, I have all my cell phone numbers on all my business cards. So it's 518-847-8582. So if somebody just want to text me, you can do that too.
Okay. And that's how you would set up to have you come or to meet up with you or even you do other than besides just readings.
Yes.
You sell different. Let's hear about.
I sell different stuff. So as of right now, so the main goal for Bad Omen is eventually I want to have a brick and mortar where I can have everything that I possibly could want into that shop. But as of right now, like I make candles, I make these little skulls that they're all made out of beeswax. And I set intention to them, so like it's like for empowerment or
I was gonna say it's like a candle. Like if you buy this candle, it's gonna give you like good fortune or stuff like that,
abundance and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I do like stuff for like self-love, that type of thing. So the candles that I do make, they are in a female form. But I hand make all of them. I hand pour everything.
What does that mean, a female form?
She's got tits and ass.
Nice.
Oh, I already like them.
Yep.
Oh, is that is that her page?
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Is that the boobs?
That's the boobs. Yep.
I'm liking witchcraft already. Witches are hot too.
Yeah.
Like black, all I don't know why, but that's hot. I'm into it. So that's your website. What? One more time.
www.bewarebadomen.com.
Okay. And phone number?
518-847-8582.
And Bad Omen on Facebook,
yes,
Instagram.
It's Beware Bad Omen on all of the social medias.
Okay. If you guys listeners want to check her out or whatever, would you ever come back and do another show?
Absolutely.
I feel like we never got to any articles or anything, which is fine.
I almost don't. I kind of feel like I don't want to do those articles.
I don't either.
Because to
I'd
me,
rather just hear
it
her.
It almost feels like because they're stupid generic, like haha funny witches. I don't want to like have it come off like I'm just the words I'm trying to find right now. We got to do a spell and I can fucking figure out how to talk right and think straight when I'm on here sometimes. But almost I didn't want to like give you. I didn't want the listeners to get a picture of her as like she's one of those like TV witches type things and stuff like that. So I just felt like some of those.
Right, I didn't want to make a joke out of her. This is a real thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't want that. No.
But I mean, obviously I do have a sense of humor, so we can,
yes, but no,
it's all good.
It's got to be fun too.
One of our serious shows that we've done.
Yeah, it is. This is way different than normal.
Yeah, because normally we get
2 weeks ago we had the strippers here.
Yeah, we had strippers here a couple weeks ago, and they're coming back next weekend.
Awesome.
That kind of show we could do all that stupid shit, but this was more serious, and I actually enjoyed this a lot more. And
that's great.
Just kind of felt like those articles would almost insult her a little bit because they're very cliche.
Yeah. Well, that's not why I picked them out, but I can see why you would think.
I know that's why you didn't pick them out. I just,
like the one, the Wicked Witch of the West. Like I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like that's just Hollywood shit.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like there's so many things that I can't remember to ask her, and that's I guess why I asked if you'd ever come back and do this again in the future.
Absolutely.
Because I'll as soon as she gets in the car and goes, I'm gonna have a million. I'll be like, God, why didn't I think to ask her that?
Well, maybe next time when she comes on, she can get more in depth on crystals and stuff.
Yes.
Like what different crystals
and the
do.
spells, I'd like to learn a little bit about.
Definitely.
And stuff and everything. And maybe even do a little spell or something if we can. Is that like a thing?
Yeah, no, I
right.
I mean, I will have to go through some stuff to like protect the space and everything. But yeah.
No, that's fine. Do it. Do whatever you got to do. But this was very interesting.
Sure was.
It kind of made me a believer.
It kind of did me too. A lot more than I was.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's great. And, I did my job.
Yeah.
So, guys, get a hold of Michelle. Beware Bad Omen. Check out that on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, you can, if you search Beware Bad Omen or www.bewarebad.omen.
Yep.
And if you guys have any questions, I'm sure she'll get to you as she can. She's probably got a million things going on with the, with social medias and stuff, but she'll get back to you and answer your questions and maybe come have her do a reading for you.
Yeah.
So
definitely hit her up.
Yeah.
She's the real deal.
Episode 62. It's been the Halloween special.
Yes.
And, well, thank you.
Thank
appreciate you coming.
I appreciate you guys having me. This was great. This was fantastic.
We'll have her back.
Yes, we will.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Oh, I guess we got to give an update on the next.
Oh, yep.
The next episode is going to be, everybody's been looking for rodeo after Lola came and brought rodeo. Everybody's been asking to have Rodeo do her own show. So I think I know she's coming back on the 12th, and that'll be the 14th that'll come out, episode 63.
Yep.
And I think Lola's coming with her, and she might be bringing another friend with her too.
One, yeah.
So stick around for that one, guys. Of course, I'll give you guys
It's going
updates
to be
on
fun.
Facebook.
I think that one's going to be fun too.
Yeah. Whole different type of fun, but it'll be a different, so give people a different thing. So thanks again, Michelle. I appreciate it. You gave us a lot of great information. I'll have a million more questions.
Right.
We'll have her back.
I'm going to say our little trademark. Just don't think we're calling you this. But hey, whore.
Hey, whore.
Hey, whore.